Have you ever wondered why you keep returning to situations that hurt you? Not because you enjoy them, not because you want to suffer, but because somehow they feel familiar. A relationship that drains you, a job that slowly kills your energy, a habit you promised yourself you'd quit years ago. You know it's painful, you know it's holding you back, and yet it feels strangely hard to let go. This isn't weakness, this isn't self sabotage, and it's not a lack of discipline. It's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Because your brain can become addicted to pain as long as that pain is familiar. Why would the brain ever choose pain? Why would it cling to suffering, stress, or emotional discomfort when peace, growth, and freedom are available? The answer is unsettling. Your brain does not seek happiness, it seeks predictability. And familiar pain is predictable. Familiar pain is not intense suffering, it's subtle, quiet, chronic. It looks like constant stress you've learned to live with emotional distance that feels normal, anxiety that never fully leaves, disappointment you've stopped questioning. Familiar pain is pain you understand. You know how it starts, you know how it feels, you know how to survive it, and to the brain, that feels safer than the unknown. Your brain has one primary job: keep you alive, not fulfilled, not inspired, not aligned with your purpose. Alive. For most of human history, survival depended on one thing: avoiding the unknown. Anything unfamiliar could mean danger, a new place, a new group, a new behavior. So the brain developed a rule. If I recognize it, I can predict it. If I can predict it, I can survive it. That rule saved lives, but today it quietly traps them. Possibility is uncertain. Uncertainty feels like danger. Pain, when it's familiar, feels manageable. So your brain compares two options: known discomfort, unknown outcome, and it chooses the one it understands, even if it hurts. This is why people stay in toxic relationships, unfulfilling careers, emotional patterns that no longer serve them, not because they want pain, but because pain has become predictable. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It's not. Dopamine is the prediction chemical. Your brain releases dopamine when a pattern repeats, an expectation is met, something familiar happens, even if that thing is negative. So when you repeat a familiar painful pattern, your brain quietly rewards you, not because it's good, but because it's expected. This is how pain becomes addictive. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical. It's not. Dopamine is the prediction chemical. Your brain releases dopamine when a pattern repeats, an expectation is met, something familiar happens, even if that thing is negative. So when you repeat a familiar painful pattern, your brain quietly rewards you. Not because it's good, but because it's expected. This is how pain becomes addictive. Have you ever said, I don't know why, but this feels normal to me? That's not intuition, that's conditioning. Your nervous system learned what to expect early in life, and it tries to recreate that environment again and again. Even if it was stressful, even if it was chaotic, even if it was emotionally unsafe. Because familiar pain feels like home to the nervous system. You're not choosing pain on purpose. Your survival brain operates beneath awareness. It reacts faster than logic. It decides before thought. That's why you can intellectually understand something is bad for you and still feel pulled toward it. Knowledge does not override conditioning. Your brain has layers. The survival brain reacts emotionally, scans for danger, values familiarity. The thinking brain uses logic, plans for the future, understands consequences. When something feels unfamiliar, the survival brain takes control. And when that happens, logic goes offline. That's why willpower disappears in moments that matter most. Change disrupts prediction, it introduces uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers the same systems that once helped humans survive physical threats. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your thoughts race, not because change is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Your brain interprets unfamiliarity as danger. Most people know fight or flight, but there's a third response: freeze. Freeze looks like overthinking, procrastinating, waiting for clarity, doing nothing. Freeze happens when you want change, but fear feels overwhelming. So your nervous system chooses stillness, not because you're lazy, but because stillness once felt safer than action. This is how time slips away. Not dramatically, not through chaos, but through repetition. The same patterns, the same stress, the same emotional loops. And each time you choose familiar pain, your brain learns this is the safe option. Motivation is emotional energy. Fear drains emotional energy. So, when fear is active, motivation collapses. That's why you feel inspired one day and stuck the next. Motivation doesn't fail because you're weak. It fails because fear wasn't addressed. Over time, familiar pain becomes part of who you think you are. You start to believe, this is just how I am. This is my personality. I've always been like this. But what you call personality is often adaptation, an identity formed around survival. And changing behavior now feels like losing yourself. For some people, peace feels boring, calm feels empty, stability feels wrong. Not because peace is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Your nervous system doesn't trust what it hasn't learned yet. So it seeks stimulation, drama, stress, anything that feels recognizable. Here it is. Your brain is not addicted to pain itself. It's addicted to what pain represents: predictability, control, survival. Once you understand this, shame dissolves. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what did my nervous system learn? Awareness interrupts automatic patterns. When you notice the pull toward familiar pain, you create space. And in that space, choice becomes possible. Not immediately, not perfectly, but gradually. The brain does not change through force, it changes through evidence. Each time you tolerate discomfort and survive, choose a healthier response and survive. Stay present instead of escaping. Your brain updates its beliefs. Maybe this isn't dangerous. That's how addiction to familiar pain loosens. Big changes overwhelm the nervous system. Small steps teach safety. One boundary, one honest conversation, one different choice. These moments matter more than motivation. Discomfort is a signal. It means you're outside the old pattern. That's not danger, that's growth. Let this settle. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not failing. Your brain learned how to survive. Now you're teaching it how to live. The shift doesn't happen when pain disappears. It happens when you recognize it. When you say, I see why this feels familiar, but I choose something new. That moment rewires everything. Not instantly, but permanently. Familiar pain once protected you. You don't need to hate it. You don't need to fight it. You just don't need to live there anymore. And the moment you understand that, your brain begins to learn a new kind of safety. One that doesn't require suffering,